What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So in today's video, guys, I'm going to be analysing Manchester United's last game that we went and played, Tottenham, away from home, guys. So let's just get straight into today's video. Yes, guys, I'm back with the videos 100 days later after the 3-month break. So let's just get straight into it, guys. 2 changes from our last game against Man City after that win in the Manchester derby. Talking about the starting 11, so we started with De Gea, Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof, Maguire, Shaw, McTominay, Fred, James, Fernandes, Rashford and Martial. So getting into the overall reaction now, Bruno Penalty penalty earns Man United late point at Spurs. A draw it is. I think a draw is fair, not enough to win the game. It's a big mountain to climb to get top 4 now. Oh well, it is what it is. We are still unbeaten, onwards and upwards. Let's build on this. Now, let's just get straight into today's video, guys. I'm obviously going to start it off by what did I make of the performance. Now, you know what? A load of people have had different opinions on this game, and I think my opinion on this game, I think the first half, you know what, guys, I thought we started that half pretty off quite well, and I think we did the right things. And what I mean by that, we had a quick and bright start to the game. We got on the front foot, we tried to create early chances, we played with width, we played with pace, we tried to get on the front foot, but you know, there was just a lack of ideas in front of goal, and we just did not know what to do in front of goal. United played really well after 10-15 minutes, and then all of a sudden the place just looked sloppy, lethargic. We capitulated. The players had sort of sat back deep. They just let Tottenham come on us, pile the pressure onto us. In the first 10-15 minutes we raised our tempo. I thought we were going to take the game to Tottenham as well. I thought we raised the intensity in the early parts of the stages of the game. But then, you know what, we sat back, we let Tottenham come onto us. Tottenham just kept coming, they kept on piling the pressure onto us. We defended well in times, but it wasn't great. So we still weren't defensively, we weren't there, we weren't rock solid at the back. There was a couple of times where there was defensive errors. I saw Luke Shaw, I think 2 or 3 times in that game, he was out of position. And I think by starting Luke Shaw was wrong. I think Brandon Williams would have been a better fit for that game. We might have got something out of that game. And I think, you know what, I looked at that starting 11 and I think everyone wanted Pogba to start this game. But if Pogba would have started this game, we probably would have won this game. But obviously, Ole came out and said Pogba's got to fight for a place, and rightly so, he has to. Some of these players have got to wake up and smell the coffee now, because we've got a big mountain to climb now to get top 4, and that means we've got to rely on clubs around us to drop points this weekend, the likes of Sheffield, Chelsea as well. You know, Sheffield have got to go away to Newcastle. Chelsea are at home, I think, to Villa. We're relying on teams now to drop points. We had to really win this game to get top 4. What did I say in my video 2 videos ago? I said to get top 4, we have got to win the big games, and we didn't against Tottenham. I thought Tottenham were going to be there for the taking. They put on a good fight, a good game. I thought the first 10-15 minutes we did really well, and then the players just completely capitulated, sat back deep, let them pile the pressure onto us. They kept piling the pressure on, and that led to a stupid mistake, really, a Luke Shaw mistake. Tries to heads it. You've got Maguire running back like a snail. You've got Lindelof probably on the wrong side of Bergwijn. De Gea can't save it. People are giving De Gea a lot of slack, or flack, should I say. Personally, I don't think it's De Gea's fault. It all started off from a Luke Shaw mistake. But the first goal, it was comical defending. It wasn't good enough. Luke Shaw wasn't in position. Maguire was poor, and you still have to question if Maguire and Lindelof is a good partnership. Do we have to go into the market and dip in and go and get someone like Upamecano or Koulibaly, strengthen the defence? You do also have to keep looking at that every single game. Is it the right defensive duo? First half, I think it was average. It wasn't good enough in the first half. We had a few chances on goal, but we didn't have any idea what to do with the chances, really. We came close, but just not close enough in the first half. We weren't good enough in the first half. Simply, we're not good enough. Second half, I thought Ole gave the players a good talking at half time. The players went out, they reacted really well, and then I thought that was the half where we controlled the game, we dominated the game, we were on the front foot, we did absolutely everything that we needed to do, kept piling the pressure on, and we just did what we did at the beginning of the first half, really. We looked bright, we looked sharp, there was a lot of energy, a lot of pace, we played with width, high intensity, high tempo, we did all that. Piled the pressure onto them. We tried to open them up a little bit. They were defensively doing a job. What United should have done is they should have looked at the Tottenham team sheet and they should have thought right away, Eric Dier is playing out of position, and the players should have been exploiting Eric Dier because he's playing out of position. He's not a centre-back. He's a central defensive midfielder. It wasn't good enough. Obviously, then we broke the deadlock. We found the goal in the second half. Obviously, Pogba won us a penalty. Great, and then Bruno scored the penalty. I think it was one of these games where you didn't really deserve to lose the game, didn't want to deserve to draw, because we were the better team at the end of the day. I felt like we were the better team, but we just simply were not good enough. Going forward, there was a couple of times with Bruno Fernandes where he was going for goal, going for a crack on goal and stuff like that out of nowhere. But at least he's trying, at least something. He tried to make something happen in the game. We've got to build on this now, and I mean, the second half was much better. But I tell you what, the turning point was when Pogba came on. Once Pogba came on, he got us pushing on the front foot, and that's where we really played with a lot of fight, character, passion, pride, heart, and there was just none of that in the first half. I'm afraid the second half was a turning point when Pogba came on, but it's a shame because if Pogba at the beginning of the second half, I think we would have beaten Tottenham at the end of the day. We would have beaten them if Pogba would have came on from the start of the second half. We would have definitely beaten them, without a doubt. I think if we had another 10-15 minutes with Pogba, we would have won the game. It's just lesson learned. It was not the result that we wanted, but it's onwards and upwards. We've got to look forward to the next game now against Sheffield. Going to be even tougher. We've just got to keep our heads up and go again now on Wednesday during the week. What did I make of Anthony Martial's performance? Because it wasn't a great night last night. He had that opportunity in the second half where he brought a fantastic save out of Lloris. What did I think that was a result of for him? Did he not work hard enough, lacking fitness, lacking service? But the game started to open up when Pogba came on. It takes time for Anthony Martial to get his ground going and to get his feet going. When the Premier League got stopped and got put to a hold, it was at a bad time for us. Pretty much puts not only just the players but the team. The rhythm was there, the momentum was there. Having that come to a stop was not the time that we wanted, to be fair. In a player like Anthony Martial, it takes him a couple of games to get his ground running, to get his feet going, and to start playing well again. And you know what? He tested Lloris. Lloris made some fantastic saves, but sometimes, he doesn't work hard enough. It could be the fitness as well. The fitness levels are not quite there too yet. I think it was a bit of everything, because he didn't really get a lot of service, lacking fitness as well. He just wasn't working hard enough at the end of the day as well. But, it takes him time to get going. And once he gets going, he starts scoring goals then. That's when you get to see the real Anthony Martial, skillful Anthony Martial, weaving in and out of players. Once he found his ground running, scores goals, he finds his momentum, he finds his rhythm. But because all that got stopped, not only just for the players but as the team as well, that sort of killed it for us, and that wasn't good enough. And obviously we didn't really want the Premier League to come to a stop. First game back, we've got to really take it on knock-on effect and say, you know what, it's a draw, we've got to build on it now, let's take the positives and let's move on to the next game now against Sheffield. It's a bit of everything for Anthony Martial. He's one of these players where he can get a bit lazy as well, and that's where he needs to kick up the backside at the end of the day. And sometimes it can be the lack of fitness, and some people do turn to the fitness department as well. I also think he didn't really get a lot of service as well in that game, because I think, the tactic was get the ball to Marcus Rashford and Dan James, and I think the crosses weren't great at all. We really need to work on the crosses a little bit more as well. Is it 2 points dropped? I think first game back, I think a point was fair for me. I think it was written in the stars since at the beginning of the game it was going to be a point. I personally thought that United would really just edge it, but obviously not. And because obviously with Pogba not starting, obviously we dropped 2 points. For some people it may feel like a loss, because obviously, with Luke Shaw and De Gea making mistakes, but not only just them two, Maguire as well. It was like a comedy of errors really at the end of the day for that one goal really. It could have been easily avoided. Some people will say it is 2 points dropped, and I think it is 2 points dropped because of top four that we need. It is 2 points dropped, yeah. I think a draw's fair though. It is what it is. We've got to move on at the end of the day, isn't it? Pogba won us the first penalty and Bruno won us the second penalty. Should the second penalty have stood? You know what, I was watching Adam McCullough this morning and he does full-time Devils. He made a good point and he said, imagine if there was no VAR and with Bruno going down, that would have been a free kick. obviously the referee pointed the spot, he gave the penalty, and if that was a free kick, that would have been awarded. But if the VAR was not there, like Adam said, the penalty should have stood really. But because obviously VAR was there in play, VAR said no. And plus there was not much contact in it. If it would have stood, I would have been surprised. But you know what? VAR said no, there's not much contact in that. He just slipped or dived just to get a penalty really. But yeah, he made a good point, Adam. We scored one penalty, but it was a very good point what he made at the end of the day. Who is my man of the match? It's between Bruno and Pogba, really. Obviously, Bruno got us the points, and Pogba changed the team once he came on, so I have to give it both Bruno and Pogba. They hit it off really well from the get-go. Everyone's been wanting to see Bruno and Pogba play together. Both Bruno and Pogba are my man of the match, really, because Bruno got us the points, Pogba changed the team, and we looked 10 times better when Pogba came on. How do we beat Sheffield United? So obviously we've got Sheffield United in our next upcoming game. Sheffield are a good team, very good team. I'm going to take my hat off and say what Sheffield United have done this season, they've been fucking fantastic. They've done a brilliant job. This is not going to be easy against Sheffield, but you know what? I watched Sheffield and Villa and they didn't look great, Sheffield. I think this is going to be a good test for both teams. Sheffield are very compact, defend really well, they keep men behind the ball, they keep the shape, stay organised, they're going with the right game plan, the right tactics. This is not going to be easy. There's no home advantage now, obviously with no crowd. It's going to be tough. Could be another draw on the cards here, but obviously one team could come out on top and just nick 3 points. But you know what? Sheffield, a great team. What Chris Wilder's done for the team, he's brought them up to the Championship. They sat 6th. They're 2 points behind us currently right now, having not played Newcastle. It's not going to be easy against Sheffield. They'll give us a good game from start to finish. But how do you beat them? What United need to do now, we need to have a quick and bright start to the game, play with lots of energy, play with pace, play with width. And you've got to play with a high intensity, high tempo. You have got to be ruthless against Sheffield United. You've got to take risks against Sheffield United, and it's going to be tough. You've got to be ruthless. You've got to put your absolute heart into this game. We drew to these early on in the season, 3-3. I thought we had a half a chance, but I think we've got half a chance of beating them again because obviously no Dean Henderson, no John Fleck, no Callum Robinson. Obviously, Callum Robinson got an assist in the last game. John Fleck scored and got an assist, so take them 2 away. And Dean Henderson, it's probably going to be a tough game for Sheffield, but not only just for Sheffield, it will be tough for us as well. But with Bruno Fernandes in the team, that'll probably give us a little bit of an edge and a little bit of flair. It will be good to see who's going to come out on top. You've got to be ruthless against Sheffield, you've got to take risks, got to put in some better crosses in. The crosses against Tottenham are very poor, so we've got to put better crosses in, low and hard crosses in. Got to start Pogba and Greenwood for me. And if we don't start Pogba and Greenwood, it's going to be a long night, unfortunately. You've got to start quick. From the start to the end of the game, you've got to play like that. If you're tired, keep going, because you don't want to look back against Sheffield. And a mistake like that, what happened against Tottenham, they'll do the same Sheffield. They'll capitalise on a mistake. And we made stupid mistakes against Sheffield. I remember that time when Phil Jones made a slip and they scored. You cannot afford to slip, you cannot afford to make a mistake. Defensively, we've got to keep it tight at the back at all times. Wan-Bissaka, he's got to keep on doing what he's doing. Lindelof and Maguire have got to keep it tight at the back. I'd rather start Brandon Williams again because he scored against them last time, and you need a quick full-back as well. We need to keep it tight at the back. We've got to be ruthless against them as well. It's not going to be easy, it's going to be difficult. You've got to take risks, but like I said, you've got to start well with a quick and bright start to the game. You've got to keep that high intensity, high tempo there throughout the rest of the game. And if you don't do that throughout the whole game against Sheffield, it's going to be tough. So you've got to really be ruthless against them. You've got to take risks, and we've got to play 10 times better. Start Pogba, start Greenwood as well. You've got to. Getting into the goal now, first goal, Pogba won a penalty, Bruno steps up and smashes it home for 1-1. Getting into stats now, possession wise for Tottenham it was bang on 39%, and for Manchester United it was bang on 61%. Goals for Tottenham it was 1, and for Man United it was 1. Total shots for Tottenham it was 10, and for Man United it was 12. Shots on target for Tottenham it was 3, and they scored 1 goal as well. and for Man United it was 6, and again we scored 1 goal. So simply, we're not good enough, and we just didn't take our chances. Shot accuracy for Tottenham, it was bang on 30%, and for Man United it was bang on 50%. Shots inside the box for Tottenham it was 4, and for Man United it was 7. Shots outside the box for Tottenham it was 6, and for Man United it was 5. Total passes for Tottenham was 364 passes, and for Man United it was 579 passes. Pass accuracy for Tottenham it was 74.7%, and for Man United it was 82.7%. Getting into the substitutions now, James went off for Greenwood. Talk about Dan's performance. Almost always selected against the elite, but did not vindicate inclusion this time. Never got measure of Ben Davies, and unsurprisingly substituted. Fred went off with Pogba. Talk about Fred's performance. Got caught out a couple of times early on and lacked cynicism to upend Bergwijn en route to scoring. Made way for Pogba. Martial went off for Igalo. Talk about Martial's performance. Get in the box. Antonio Solskjaer shouted at Martial. He stayed outside the box. Came alive to elect a world-class save from Hugo Lloris. Lindelof went off and Matic. Talk about Lindelof's performance. Maguire was more culpable for Bergwijn's goal, and Lindelof could not get across to close the gap or block the shot. McTominay went off for Bailey. Talk about McTominay's performance. Aggressive and vocal, as the referee will attest, but left Fred isolated at times, and it contributed to the opener. Next up, we've obviously got Sheffield United. Sheffield sat 6th. They'll give us a good game. We've got to stay alert at all times. We've got to prepare well for this game, not only just mentally, but physically as well. So it's going to be a good game against Sheffield. They'll give us a really tough game. We've got to prepare well for this game, mentally, physically. Got to prepare right for this game. If Ole picks the right team and puts the players in the right positions, he needs to balance the team out right. The structure in the team needs to be right. We need the depth in the team, and he needs to select the right formation for the game. And I believe, hopefully, if he does all those things, we will go on to winning the game. Sheffield have scored 30 goals so far this season. Sheffield have conceded 25 goals so far this season. Sheffield are scoring 1 goal per game. Sheffield are conceding pretty much 1 goal per game as well. Sheffield have the second best defence in the league as well, so you've got to have to really break these down as well. It's not going to be easy as well, but how will this benefit Sheffield behind closed doors? How will they react of playing at Old Trafford? Obviously, they're not going to get their away day at Old Trafford with no fans being there. But obviously, like I said, Sheffield will be without Dean Henderson because he's a United player. He's out on loan at Sheffield. Hopefully no John Fleck. Jack O'Connell is injured, and obviously with Callum Robinson, he's now out on loan at West Brom. And without Henderson, Fleck and Robinson, whoever scored in those 2 games, which was McGoldrick and Mossett, you know, they're like the only ones that you're relying on at the end of the day as well. Sheffield have won 11, drawn 11 and lost 7. They have lost at Leicester 2-1, Southampton 1-0, Liverpool 1-0, Newcastle 2-0. Good win for Newcastle there against Sheffield. Man City 2-0, Liverpool 2-0 against Sheffield, and 1-0 Man City. 2 of those fixtures they have lost away. The last time Man United beat Sheffield United in the Premier League was on Tuesday the 17th of April 2007, and it ended 2-0 to Man United. Man United have never lost at home to Sheffield United in the Premier League, but the last time United lost was in the League Division 1, and it ended 2-1 to Sheffield United. It was on Wednesday the 26th of December 1973. The players to look out for is Fleck if he's fit, Longstrom, Norwood, Bezic, McBurney, Sharp, McGoldrick and Mossett. Hope you guys are enjoying another video. Be sure to leave a like, subscribe to my channel if you are new. See you guys in the video in the next couple of days, and peace.